Hi, and thanks for stopping by my channel. We have a shorter yin sequence today, and today's sequence is focused mostly around butterfly and getting into our hips, which most of the yin sequences do. They're very important into getting into those big joints of the lower body. And we will also have some side body work today as well. I suggest having a blanket or some blocks. It will always offer some opportunities for adjustments or taking different versions of our poses. So we will go ahead and get started. From where you are at, we'll just come to a center of our mat and we're going to start into our seated butterfly pose. So taking the feet together, the soles of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall, and you can totally stay right here. Or if you would like, you can start to walk the hands forward and gently round the spine as we allow the head to hang heavy. Now, if this is the first thing that you're doing today, don't be concerned if the hips are feeling tight or if you don't come down very low at all. Just come down into whatever your body has space available for you today. Because the more often you practice and the more care and respect you have for yourself without trying to force yourself into the pose, your body will open up and you will find yourself getting deeper and deeper into the practice. We're all quite tight first thing in the morning or even in the afternoon after we've been busy all day. And we don't want to be hard on ourselves for not fully meeting any expectations or assumptions that we have for how deep we can get. But the great thing about yin is that we have time. We're holding these poses for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. And with that time, it gives our muscles a chance to relax. Sometimes it can take as long as 4 minutes to fully reach that point, to where you have that wonderful lengthening and that release. When we come out of this pose, please use your hands to press down into the floor or the mat and slowly lift yourself back upright. Wonderful. And let's lean back, bring the hands behind you, take the soles of the feet to the mat, and we'll just take a couple of windshield wipers. Allow that blood and the fluids to nourish the joints and to recirculate. One more time on each side. And then when we come back to center, we'll extend that left leg out long at a diagonal and then draw the right foot. At first, bring it in to touch that inside of the left thigh, but then open it up just slightly. So you have maybe a 2 or 3 inch gap between the foot and the thigh. So we're going to do this with a slightly open hip. So you may find that you don't come as deep as you would normally come into this pose for our half butterfly. Turn the torso so that you're facing the left leg. And then from here, we're going to start to walk the hands out. You can have the forearms on the mat or just the hands touching, or you can also have a couple of blocks underneath you, which is quite nice. And I think I will take that option for myself today. Remember, as you are in each pose and we hold for a couple of minutes, you will most likely feel the body start to relax. So maybe then you want to take the blocks away. Maybe you don't. That's fine too. But wherever you're at, come back to the breath. Allow yourself to relax. Keep yourself grounded into the mat so that both the right and the left hip are still connected and we're not falling more to the left. We'll stay here for about 5 more breaths. And I know to come out of these poses, it can be very tempting just to lift the head and use the power of the neck and the head to draw you up. But again, I encourage you to use your hands and use that to lift yourself back to an upright pose. Now from here, let's keep that right knee bent. We're going to bring the right hand down beside us, shift our weight to draw that left knee up. And so now we're kind of in this side-seated position here. The left knee not directly stepped on top of the right, but it is just right next to it. So we're sitting more onto the right hip. The left hip will be lifted. And then from here, let's take that left hand down into the mat. And we're going to lift that right arm up to the sky. You're going to feel a big stretch into the outside of that right hip, onto the outside through that lateral side body. The right hand can come to the back of the head, lifting the gaze up towards the sky, rotating heart center so it also lifts up towards the sky. Now it can get a little bit more difficult to keep the arm lifted. You may feel tingling. If that doesn't bother you, go ahead and keep it there. But if it does get distracting or too uncomfortable, you can also take that right arm and just wrap it around the left shoulder Again, keeping that chest rotated so that the heart center still lifts towards the ceiling and the right hip is grounded. And you should still have that same sensation along the outside of the right side body. Wherever you're at, continue to breathe. The left elbow can be slightly bent or it can be straight. Our sensation that we're looking for is on the outside of the right hip and traveling even all the way up underneath that right armpit. Wonderful. And then to come out, we'll slowly lift back up to a neutral position. Allow the right hand to come down. And we're going to stay on the right hip, but take that right forearm down to the mat. You'll probably need to scoot the hips down just a little bit so that they are more towards the center of the mat so that you have a little bit more room. And from here, I'm going to just move my blocks out of the way so that they don't become distracting. From here, the right forearm on the mat. Extend the left leg out long. We're going to come into cat pulling its tail pose. So you can stay with the right forearm on the mat, the left leg long, bend that right knee and maybe catch a hold of that right foot with your left hand behind you so that the right leg is bending quite deeply. Now from here, you can bend that left knee in and keep it stacked on top of the right. You can also extend it out long. So all three of those positions are completely fine, however you want that left leg to be. But if you would like to take it a little deeper, you can take that right shoulder, lower it all the way down onto the mat. So the back of the right shoulder starts to come to the mat. You're onto the back of the shoulder. Again, keeping hold of that right foot with the left hand, and then the left leg can stay bent, or you can take it out long. I like to take my right hand and bring it to the side of my left thigh to keep it grounded, and also it helps to deepen the twist a little further. So my shoulders are connected to the mat, but I'm getting a very deep twist into the thoracic. And holding here. To come out of this pose, we'll release that left leg if you had a grasp on it. Release the right foot. Extend both of them to the back of the mat. Slowly roll onto your belly. And we'll come into Sphinx. Take a moment in Sphinx. Maybe rock the hips to right and left. And that cat pulling its tail truly was a twist, and it also had a slight back bend to it as well. Again, in our Sphinx, we are also in a back bend, but you may feel that it slightly neutralizes the depth of that cat pulling its tail pose. From here, let's draw both of the feet in, and then we'll take some windshield wipers just on our belly. Your feet won't go too far from side to side, but we're just getting some movement into that lumbar spine. When you're ready, lower the legs, draw the hands underneath the shoulders, push back into tabletop, and we'll go ahead and spin the legs around until we'll come back to seated in the center of our mat. This time, extend the right leg out at a diagonal. Draw that left foot in until it touches the inner right thigh, and then from here, we'll take that foot out so it's maybe about 3 inches away from the inside of the thigh for a nice open hip. Again, grab your blocks if you would like to have them underneath your forearms, but we'll start by sitting up nice and tall and then walk ourselves over so that we are facing directly over the top of that right leg. And then allow the spine to curve and round as the head feels heavy. And we just hold here. Over time, give your body the chance to melt over that right leg. It may not feel like it at first, but given the opportunity, your body will soften. Your body likes to use the space that you create for it with the breath. So return to those inhales and exhales. Feel the spine open. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. To come out pushing in the mat, using care. Coming to an upright position, returning the spine back to neutral. From here, keeping that left knee bent, shifting onto the left hip to draw that right knee up and adjacent to the left knee. So we're in this nice little side seated pose once more, but on the opposite side. This time we'll take the right hand down towards the mat and then lift the left arm up to the sky, either bringing it across the chest or behind the head, whatever feels comfortable. Play with that right elbow, bend it until you really start to feel a stretch into the outside of that left hip, into the left side body. Keep the left hip nice and firmly planted, rooted down into the earth. And breathe. Pushing into the mat with your right hand to lift yourself back to an upright. Let's take a moment. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to set ourselves up for a cat pulling its tail on the opposite side. So the left forearm will come to the mat. You may need to adjust your position of your hips or recenter yourself on your mat to make some space. From here, we'll extend that right leg out long. The left knee will come at a bend and maybe take a hold of that left foot behind you for the grasp. And you can stay right here. That's completely fine. Or if you would like to bend that right knee in, you can come into that position or extend the right leg out long in front of you. If you want an even deeper twist, that would mean taking the left shoulder down towards the mat. So the back of the shoulder comes towards the mat. From here, extending the left leg out long and taking a hold. Extending the right leg out long. I should make sure I'm saying that correctly. Right leg out long, and then taking a hold of that left foot with the right hand for the deepest version of the twist. Again, since we are holding this for a couple of minutes, maybe you take the upright version, and perhaps if that starts to feel easy, you could lower down. Remember, the right leg can always stay bent or just extended long. Obviously, this is a very deep twist, but by taking it to the mat and also reaching for that back foot, you're adding a slight back bend into this twist, which gives it a little extra challenge. Challenges are always fun. I encourage you to keep finding your challenge in your practice at whatever level you're at, taking whatever shape suits you. But remember to always pause if something doesn't feel right, and then maybe some other time trying again. This time, as we come out of our twist, you can release the back foot, start to bend the right leg in, and we're going to roll onto our back. So if you were upright on your forearm, slowly lower down onto your back. And then extend the legs out long. We'll pause here in just a little mini Shavasana. Let's go ahead and shift the hips from right to left. Neutralizing from that position just for a moment before we move into our final pose of the sequence. From here, we'll draw both the feet so that the soles of the feet are touching the mat. And we're going to come into our half happy baby pose. So we'll start by taking that left foot and drawing it in towards the chest. You can grab the outside edge of the left foot. You can also take the outside of the shin, or even if you have regular leggings on, maybe it helps to take a hold of the legging. Also, a strap is very, very helpful when you're doing your butterfly or half butterfly. And then from here, use the weight of the arm and the shoulder just to draw that left knee in towards the left armpit. And if you can see here on camera, my hand is on the outside edge of my foot, but the actual arm runs on the inside of the left knee so that I can give myself space and keep that knee drawing in closer and closer towards the mat. My left foot is flexed. Now for the right leg, you can keep it bent and on the floor, or if you would like, you can also start to extend it out long. I like to keep my right hand on my right hip so that I can sense that it is grounding and reaching for the mat and that I'm not rolling over onto my left side. And breathe. On the next breath, you can release that left foot very slowly. Bring the sole of the foot towards the mat. We'll draw that right foot up and in if you had that extended, and bring that sole of the foot also towards the mat. Take one inhale and exhale it out. From here, we'll take our half happy baby over on the right side, drawing the right knee in, taking a hold of the outer edge of that foot if it's available, or using your strap. And then holding here, draw that right knee down towards the earth. You can keep your left foot planted Or if you would like, you can also extend that left leg out long. Use gravity, use the weight of the right arm to draw that right knee down. Let's end with 5 more breaths on this side. And gently place the right foot back down onto the mat. You can draw the left foot in up to match. Maybe take a couple of windshield wipers from side to side. And when you're ready, we'll start to close out our practice. You can either take your full Shavasana, or if you would like to take a reclined butterfly, draw the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to open up wide. You can be supported in your reclined butterfly by placing blocks underneath the space between the knees and the earth. Maybe lift up the spine, allow the shoulders to widen underneath you, and open up the hands, lift them up towards the sky. As we rest here in our last few breaths of the sequence. Ending this practice very peacefully. Feeling very open in the heart and the hips. Keep that heart opening with you as you come off of your mat today. Be open with others. Feel confident. Feel warmth and loving. And then turning to come into a cross-legged seat, just as we started our practice. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Draw the hands down through heart center with a small tuck of the chin. Thank you for joining me today. As always, there are more practices like this on the channel every single week. Check for them on Sunday mornings. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe so that you get those notifications. And feel free to leave any comments below if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or ideas for things that you would like to see on this channel. I would be happy to take them. As always, have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye.